It's a measure of economic growth. GDP growth is considered a useful measure of how a country is doing. Over the last 5 years or so, our GDP growth has been going in the right direction. But GDP is not a very useful measure of how others are feeling, because you can have a series of banks can show up tomorrow, and then because the GDP growth in Ghana has been largely, and it's not surprising, has largely come from the service sector, that is banking and mobile telephony companies.
Right.
Okay. Now, over the last 3 months, a few things have happened, particularly in the banking sector, which have tended to destabilize the banking sector. And to the extent that it destabilizes it, the net effect of it will be felt later, because that has been the source of growth. If that has been disturbed to the extent that it has, then next time round, your growth will be affected. But that's not answering your question. What I'm saying is that over the last 5 years, broadly speaking, you could say that the country has been moving in the right direction. However, the ordinary person, the ordinary man in the street, as measured by the level of unemployment, as measured by the level of unemployment of graduates, as measured by the number of SSS graduates who can get into universities.
Right.
I cannot say that the economy, whatever the progress is, has been benefiting the ordinary guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, just to give you a more provocative example, if you take the US economy is doing very well, everybody says. Okay. The GDP last week went up to about a projected 3.2. But if you look at the US, what is driving the GDP? It's the stock exchange, which has gone through the roof. But how the stock exchange, how Bill Gates' company, Apple, all of that, Amazon, every day they add into their billions. How is that affecting the guy who lives in New York, in Brooklyn? So I'm saying that economic growth indicator called GDP growth is not a good indicator
measurement.
of the measurement. You could actually be more provocative and go to, there's now a United Nations, if you Google, there's now a United Nations indices which shows happiness, blah, 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 well-being, general well-being, and it's been applied in the Nordic countries. And it's supposed to be a better measure of people's whatever, the progress than the GDP growth. Okay. Now, again, if you look at I don't want to sound too political, because if you're not careful, you wade into politics, and I'm not a politician. But your question straddled two political, two political, let's say, events. You've got NDC within that period of the 5 years, and then you've got the NPP. Okay. NPP will say they came to clean up the mess of NDC. NDC are saying that, no, you are making a mess of things. So, again, it depends on which side of the political divide you sit. Okay. I think I've answered your question.
Yeah. I think you've given me enough.
Yeah.
One more question, and then you can go.
Carry on.
Where do you see Ghana in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you see us being in the same?
I see us becoming more religious, which is not good.
Yes,
It's
true.
No, in the next 5 years, more churches will spring up, because attendance at churches, okay, is a reflection of the state of the economy.
Of course.
Frustration, people are feeling the sense of helplessness and hopelessness drives you to the open arms of Obinim or any of those so-called prophets.
Right.
So it's not, I'm not being fastidious, I'm just making a comment that
Of course.
Shamefully, come in. I'm a fraud earlier. So next 5 years, I think that there are serious headwinds. Okay, and let's go through the headwinds. Not too many people are going into cocoa, which has been a mainstay of our economy. Okay, let me take you back. In 2000, when Kufuor assumed office, I was invited to address his cabinet. And there were some comments I made which still resonate well, and I'll make them to you now. I don't think any government is being very serious in terms of how they harness the potential of this country. Over the last 20 years at least, the second largest contributor to foreign exchange reserves, people like you, remittances from abroad. Okay? Mm-hmm. My sister lives in New York. She has 2 kids. She's been sending money to her sisters here. Yeah. If her mother was alive, she'd be sending money for her upkeep. If my sister passes away,
who looks
the kids are Americans. They don't come here. Even when they do, they can't relate.
It's true.
So where is the continuity or the sustainability of that major source of income going to come from? Once that generation passes, and it's passing pretty fast, and there is no attempt to integrate culturally the new Ghanaians into their country here. And this is not rocket science. The Indians have done it. If you go to UK, the Indians have all sorts of social, cultural things which binds them to the motherland. Yes. In the US, even stronger. So they always go back. They always know that they have a country, even though they are born Americans.
Yeah. Yes.
If you have a friend, if you have relatives in America, kids, ask them whether they know Ghana, whether they care.
They've never been.
Okay. So that source of revenue could be in danger 10 years, 20 years from now. Yes, we found oil, but the country is so heavily indebted. Ghana's GDP, debt as a percentage of GDP is about 65%. And they are still talking of borrowing more. Even to service that debt is a challenge. To service it. Because it's like owing anybody. Yeah. You've got to pay interest.
Of course.
Okay. So there are serious headwinds ahead. People are not going to cocoa. Cocoa is still number 1.
So would you say agriculture is our industry we should focus on?
Agriculture is the industry that we should focus on.
Yes, I agree.
But not just agriculture. Agriculture with value added.
Yes.
But beyond that, there is a mindset problem which, if it's not resolved, this country will not go forward. If you take the mining industry, the organized mining industry, that is my big companies and all of that, starting the company that I used to head, Ghana has been a gold mining country since 1895. All these mines, Tapua, Brindiani, all of those have sprung up. None of them had Ghanaian equity interest. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Okay. So they are here, they are supposed to pay their tax. Yeah. They have too many concessions anyway, and then they take
the money out.
I am sure even at your age, you probably have heard that, people go say, if you go to Johannesburg, then you compare it to Obuasi, Obuasi now. What people don't understand is that in Johannesburg, what made Johannesburg is that the mines were owned by South Africans. They were whites, but they were owned by South Africans. So the money stayed
within the country.
So once they pay their taxes, their dividends and everything, they have to spend it in South Africa. That's how South Africa is a first world country.
But we do a lot of that with a lot of industries here in Ghana. Where foreigners comes in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. If you take South Africa, MTN is South African.
It's here.
Owned.
Yeah.
MTN here hasn't got 1 Ghanaian percentage. I headed a company, Ashanti, from 1986. I was the head, and I went to South Africa to head a big group. When I left as chief executive, all my shares I had paid for. I did not own 0.005% of the company.
Wow. Wow.
And I paid for them.
But you paid.
So what I'm saying to you is that there is a lot of talk about private sector. You take the mobile telephony companies, and I've said that in my speech. Maybe you should give my speech. I think you pick up a lot from that. My speech at the New Year's show. I've read it too. Because if you take the mobile telephony companies, and don't forget that the engine of growth for the GDP over the last 15 years has been the service sector. So focus on the service sector. Don't stretch your imagination too far.
Right.
If you take mobile telephony companies, which are central to it, not one Ghanaian has 1% of Vodafone, MTN, Tigo, any of them, all of them. Not 1%. And let me tell you something else also which will shock you. That is why, are you surprised that your exchanges is what it is? Because every Monday morning, all the CDs that you have paid for your truck,
right,
they mobilize all of them and take it to the banks for them to transfer so that the money
it's gone.
goes.
So nothing gets circulated within Ghana.
Within Ghana.
But that's the problem we're having across the board in the whole of Africa.
So what is no? But in Africa, some of the companies, some of the countries are doing well. Nigeria insisted that MTN should be owned in Nigeria, largely by Nigeria. So Nigeria made MTN. MTN in Nigeria is 60% owned by Nigerians.
That's good.
When they talk about Dangote, how did Dangote become Dangote? He was given preferential treatment by governments in terms of contracts, in terms of access. They will stop everybody, place tariff on sugar.
Right.
He's the only guy who can bring the sugar. All of that. Because the government saw the need to create local champions so that the economy will stay where it is.
So why can't Ghana replicate some of these?
Well, if I take you to Mike Adenuga, who has on his own account is producing about 150,000 barrels of oil a day, which is the entirety of what Ghana produces, one man.
Wow.
And there are about, at least I know 6 of them like that. Here in Ghana, they hate you. They will not even allow you to own a block.
It's true.
I think the whole country is engulfed by hatred, envy, jealousy, pettiness, vindictiveness, all of that.
They don't want to help.
They don't see beyond their noses that
Right.
the actions that they are taking are the very actions which are undermining the development of the sector that they claim they want to see champion the country for. India, you chose India.
Yes, I did.
Okay, India, a very good friend,
Yes.
is India's richest man. His house, he built the house. You can go and check $2 billion for the house, 77 floors,
What's his
and
name?
he's left with he and his wife, Ambabani. He is the owner of now currently the 3rd largest mobile telephony company, but it will become number 1 soon. Indians have champions, and Indians positively discriminate against. They put obstacles in your way to make sure that if you are in competition, if you are not in competition with Indians, that's fine. If you are in competition with Indians, the system would create the opportunity for the Indian to prevail.
Right. Because they
In
believe
sharp
in
contrast
doing
to it.
things together, right?
The Indians are very entrepreneurial, and without entrepreneurs, no economy would go forward.
It's true.
I mean, it's not an accident that Alibaba is owned by that small boy down there.
Yeah.
Jack Ma. 20 years ago, the Chinese didn't encourage that,
No.
but now they do.
do.
And look at what's happening now. So unless there is a mindset change,
Yes. That I agree.
so if you are contrasting Ghana and India, it's useful. But the Indians own their economy. Ghanaians don't own their economy. So I would suggest, as part of research, go to the stock exchange, get a list of all the companies which are listed on the stock exchange,
Right.
and look at the Ghanaian ownership. It is just a facade. Ghanaians don't own the companies which are listed on the stock exchange. And guess what? Private equity funds which have put money in the stock exchange, they have no loyalty to your country. If today emerging market funds equities are not fashionable, they give the instruction to broker sell.
Yes.
When they sell, the price goes
Goes
down.
down.
Everybody loses out. Then they've got to take their money out, which also has an impact on your foreign exchange control, your exchange rate. So it's a very
Complicated
it's
situation.
not because of a problem. It's got too many facets. Too many facets. I wish I had more time.
Same,
Unfortunately.
because I am really enjoying this
But
conversation.
Go and read my speech.
So the voice that you've just heard is Sir Sam Jonah. Thank you so much, sir, for taking time out to have a
you.
discussion
My
with me.
pleasure.
Thank you.